What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Casually Die Hard. I'm Damien.
And I'm Ashley.
And thank you all for joining us today. We are pleasantly accepting and welcoming of Aurie from Elsewhere, a band that we saw at an Alesana show in PA, 2 years ago, I believe.
Yeah.
And we're really impressed with the band, and we know they have a new album coming out and everything. So, Aurie, how are you today? How are things going for you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for being here. Like I said, we were big fans of you guys when we saw you open up for Alesana. That was a huge show.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine
amazing.
for you guys, but it was such a fun time for us, and we were so pleasantly impressed with how well you guys did and stuff. So I know Ashley wanted to open up with a question here quick about how you guys got started.
Yeah. So, how did you guys get started?
Yeah, kind of stole your thunder.
How did the band get started, or how did I get started in music? Or
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Both.
I've been doing music since like the beginning of high school. Started my own. I started writing on my own, and then everyone starts with like a crappy local band, but
Oh, yeah.
through those experiences, though, you meet people and you start to network and stuff, and that's where eventually I met Ricky, who plays drums with us still.
Okay.
So Ricky's the person I met and I've been doing music with the longest. And then we recorded with Josh, who's now our guitarist. So it's just like the little footsteps you get starting out and meeting people.
Yep.
And that's how I kind of got into music. I was in a band called We Fought by the Sword. I started off playing guitar. I would switch to bass depending on who we could find to like fill up the lineup. I'd switch back to guitar. Yep. And then my brother went off to college and we didn't have a vocalist, so I switched to vocals, and that's where I kind of stuck.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. So did you already know like screaming vocals and stuff like that beforehand? Like, were you already doing screaming vocals at that point, or were you cleans and switched? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, I always wanted to be a vocalist. I started doing screams. I started learning about, because like bands like Alesana inspired me, and I still have like covers, like super bad high school covers on YouTube of me doing like songs like Alesana and Census Fail.
Nice.
So I always wanted to, but my brother was a vocalist, and I would do like some backup screams and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I really got hooked on it once he like kind of left, and I had to kind of fill in the shoes.
Nice. So what year did Elsewhere officially become a band, and like how did that like kind of start taking off for you guys?
Yeah, I believe 2018. I know Josh and our bassist Tyler, they wrote like a couple songs on like an EP, and they put on Bandcamp, and they were pretty different. There was like some like heavier ones, and there's some more like melodic ones. Okay. And Josh wanted to. I know Josh was always posting like, "Oh, I want to be in like a melodic band, and I want to be in like a progressive metalcore, like more like gent band."
Mm-hmm.
And I hit him up and I was like, "Hey, like We Fought by the Sword recently. We lost like our guitarist, and we were having a hard time getting back on track." So I was like, "How well, we just started something new." It took a little convincing with Josh, but we got Josh and Ricky together. That was kind of our central hub, and we had Ricky's brother playing guitar for a bit, and we just kind of built from there. Kind of took a few members and changed, but overall, 3 out of the 5 of us are just original members from 2018, and
oh wow,
Tyler's been in the band for forever. So
I was gonna say, how old are you, all of you guys, if you don't mind my asking?
No, I'm 34. I'm the old guy.
Okay, gotcha.
That's tough. I think Timmy might be the youngest.
Okay.
But I wouldn't know his age. I'm gonna guess like 27.
Okay.
Don't hate me, Timmy. Somewhere around there.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I feel like in like the local scene, it's so common that like bands last like 2 or 3 years. So it's really cool to hear that like a lot of your original members are still with you guys.
Yeah, no, it really is. Like, that's definitely hard, because when you're in the local scene, it definitely, I think, can get, like, I had tried to put together a band and it went absolutely fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to find people that are so in tune with what you want and what you're looking for and everything like that.
And reliable.
And
especially reliable in the local scene.
I was gonna say, you said do you have work today too then as well?
No.
Oh, okay, good. I was gonna say, I know you had said that like working second shift, like even that takes away so much. I was working like the best I have is wrestling. I was a pro wrestler around the York area and stuff like that. And I I used to work first shift, but 12-hour days. So like getting to trainings and stuff like that. And then still having energy on Saturday and Sunday. It's so hard.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, at least for me, like it's nice because if it's like a Friday show, I'll just take off. It's like I have PTO and stuff I can use.
Yeah.
But, I know a lot of the guys have trouble, like they don't get a lot of PTO, so
yeah,
I'd rather have like a second shift and have like the availability to take off when needed than to first shift and like have no PTO anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when like we plan a tour and it's like, okay, you're gonna take a week off work, and then for some of the guys that's like all they have the whole year.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, like that is such a hard thing to navigate. But do you think with starting a band in York, because obviously York, PA, for the people that don't know, is right next to Amish country, Pennsylvania, Lancaster County, and Lancaster, PA is kind of creating a resurgence of metal since like 2005, with August Burns Red being a Grammy-nominated metalcore band and stuff like that. And do you think it's a little bit easier in the area to be able to form a band like Elsewhere versus like if we did it in Bumblefuck, Connecticut?
Yeah. So I have a really hot take with this one.
Oh, go ahead.
I think it's a double-edged sword. I love ABR. But they made so many bands in this area tried to emulate them that I think a lot of the bands started to sound a lot of the same. Don't hate me, people, but like
you're
right.
You have like Texas in July, who's like very ABR similar. You have I the Breather, who is very similar, and they're all like kind of from this area. And then, but like I've been in a band since 2005, so like I knew like every local band was just like wanted to be ABR. You know, everything was fast drums, technical guitar, everything. And I think we lost like a lot of the punk kind of scene in this area. I think the punk scene died pretty hard. So I love ABR, but like at the same time, being in a local band from that era, I'm so tired of hearing local ABR versions.
Fair.
Well, and that's true, because like they were so integral to like the growth of metalcore. Like they are probably one of the biggest metalcore bands in the United States. And one of the most influential. And so when you look at it, people always want to emulate what they grew up with. Like obviously we grew up with ABR, but like when I was trying to form a band, I wanted to sound like Asking Alexandria. And that was like the first band that I had found. So it's like, okay, I want a lot of these high cleans, low screams and stuff like that. So but yeah, like you guys have obviously found success. You have 2 EPs. You just released a new one. I Hope It Haunts You. A new album, I should say, not an EP. Tell us about the writing process of that.
It spans. I feel like, I'm someone who like writing is my favorite part of being in a band. I love the creative process, and once that kind of is over, I feel like part of me is just like dormant, you know, just waiting for the next thing.
Yeah.
So writing it was a lot of fun. We definitely wrote it over the span. A lot of the songs that were like done first kind of, it's weird. Like I Hope It Haunts You, like the song was one of the first ones we had finished, but then we were like, okay, we want to make a music video for it. We want to, you know, have it all come out when on release. So like I've heard that song for so long. So like to finally, you know, get it out after a year and a half after it was done, it's just like, it's relieving, but it's also like, okay, what's next?
But that's fair.
The writing is, our process is a lot like our guitarist Josh writes most of it. Him and Tyler usually get together, and Tyler's kind of like helps with ideas and like, oh, this should go like this, or maybe we can do this next. Josh does most of the actual like the guitar writing and stuff, and then he'll send me a demo, and then I'll usually like demo the vocals, send them back like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Do you like these parts? And then we'll all try to like give each other feedback, and then go up to Josh's and record it all.
So do you have like a home, so Josh, does he have like a home studio that you guys all record in, or does he like operate a studio kind of thing? Yeah,
so Josh operates a studio out of his house called Native Studios. Nice. He does a lot of work with a lot of bands. If you're looking to record and you want to keep it like reasonable, you know, like hit up Josh, like he'll definitely work with you. And I think the recordings are absolutely like professional level. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say I listened to the album when it came out day one, and it sounded super like a lot of local bands you can get into like the it sounds like it was recorded on a keyboard.
Yeah.
But like this came out super professional and it sounds amazing. You guys really should check it out. It came out last month, correct?
Yeah, November 4th.
Okay.
Yeah, so last month, and it's absolutely
so
incredible. Good. It's absolutely
Yeah.
incredible. I'm drawing a blank on. It's like the third track on the album. I think is my favorite. I can't even think
Hans.
of the name. Oh, is that okay? Yeah, I was gonna say like I came in and I'm like I had it, and yeah. But yeah, no, because you guys pair the melody so well with like the screaming and the balance of it, which I think a lot of bands have a really hard time doing in this genre. Like how do you go about kind of piecing those things together? Like how you personally, when it comes down to vocals, how do you piece together like when to scream, when to sing kind of thing?
Yeah, I think for me, like a big thing for me again is like writing, but it's also like the lyrics, and like writing the lyrics is a part that I love and I'm really passionate about. So it just, part of it's emotion and part of it is just like I want you to understand what I'm saying and I want my message to come across, because if you don't understand the lyrics, you're not going to know why I'm like singing or screaming. Like so I put a lot of emphasis on like diction, and like I know people will be like, you know, I can never understand what people are screaming, but I try really hard. That's why I think I do like I try to do more like a talky scream at some points, so you get like the emotion of the scream, but you get more of like the diction of the speech. So that's something I try to incorporate a lot. But other than that, it's just kind of like the emotion, like in Haunts, like singing "I Hope It Haunts You" is just more of like an eerie thing than if I screamed it would be like more like an anger thing.
Yeah.
So you just kind of have to see where you're at emotionally. I feel like I would never like recommend someone just like, oh, I'm gonna scream this and I'm gonna sing this, like put it in pen, you know, just have the track in front of you and just do what you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's definitely like, as somebody who used to write, it's definitely like you have to feel it. But I've heard stories of people that are just like, this is where I'm going to scream, this is where I'm going to sing. When like I've listened to people like discuss songs and stuff like that, I'm like, how do you just say that?
Yeah,
like you never know how it's going to come out, and it's like,
yeah. And I feel like it really comes across when the emotion is put into it, where it's like, I can now really feel what you're trying to do.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I feel like that's a trap a lot of musicians fall into, because in our second song, At Least a Place to Lie, there's like a heavier part, and I was just like, I want to do spoken word here. Like I want to open the song with spoken word, and that's A Place to Lie is like one of my favorite songs off that album. So and
banger.
I have the feeling that a lot of people, like even in the band, were like, why are you doing spoken word there? And I was just like, trust me. And I think a lot of them like it now.
Yeah.
Was it something that they had to like, it had to grow on them, or was it like just like once they heard it all together, they're like, oh, okay, now I get it?
So I think in general, me singing in general kind of grew on people, especially in the band. I did take 3 years of lessons in between Hopeless and kind of like during things, kind of into I Hope It Haunts You, because you know I wanted to do cleans, and if I have to take 3 years of vocal lessons to be better, to be at that level, and I'll do it. Like so I really recommend vocal lessons for people. It helped me scream and helped me sing and helped me really understand a lot of the technique, and just I think it, you know, make you a better musician.
Yeah,
absolutely. I agree with that as well. Oh, okay. I thought you had something like the way you looked at me. So with a project like I Hope It Haunts You, you said on your blog that it took place as like the aftermath of the pandemic. Like obviously a lot of bands were writing like really emotional things during, with it being like how you were feeling after pandemic. Can you kind of break that down a little bit as like a choice? Because to be emotional happy after the pandemic, I think a lot of us were feeling that, but I know this album has a lot of deep meaning in like in depression and stuff like that as well. So if you could elaborate on that.
Yeah, I wrote a lot of it kind of during the later half of 2020, at least some of
Okay.
the like Ceiling and Paper Flowers, and just feel like getting back to normal was something that was difficult for a lot of people, and just like re-socializing, especially if you were an introvert before and you got maybe a little complacent and like
Yeah.
not having that like big social interaction. Because I think like my anxiety is worse than ever. Like you used to be able to, you know, go somewhere and there was not a lot of people there. Now you're, especially during Christmas shopping right now, and there's like
Oh my God.
everyone
so
and their
many.
mama out. It's just like
Yeah.
I can feel like this social battery, let's deplete, like, and just be anxious, and when there's so many people out. And that's something personally I dealt with. I dealt with a lot of like, especially Hans is about like an experience I had in therapy and stuff. So I don't want to generalize it to everyone, but I definitely had like a transition period where it was just like, especially like, we played a show probably like a week or like a couple days before they started like the actual lockdown for COVID. And then that was it for like almost 2 years. And then I felt like, am I still going to be comfortable on stage? Am I still going to be able to like, you know, go out in this crowd of people? I think Alesana might have been the first show we had back from COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Going from like 0 to 100. This is like
So many. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because was that the biggest crowd that you guys have been in front of?
I think so.
Okay.
I would believe
How
so.
did you get that opportunity?
Yeah, it's a whole story that was very messed up by COVID.
We're in for long stories.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the original person booking it, I just reached out to them and they said, you know, we have the opening slots were like the more tickets you would commit to sell, the higher you got up there. And I was like,
Okay.
we'll just open. We're cool with just
Yeah.
opening. So we committed to that. And I forget when that original show was, but it was somewhere in the 2020, early 2021. I think it was early 2021 because they were like, oh, this is definitely going to be over by 2021. There's no shot that this is still a thing.
Yeah.
And then that just got canceled. I think the guy wouldn't like respond to my calls anymore because it wasn't his show anymore. Then Jeremy Wise of CI was handling the booking of that show. So I reached out to Jeremy and I was like, hey, the previous person booking this show like agreed to have us on. Would you be kind of cool like honoring that? And he was like, yeah, I'll honor that. We'll still do the same ticket commitment and everything's good. So I was like, cool. But I was still a little stressed out because like I knew a lot of people were still very concerned about the COVID thing. And I was like, just like me, like, do I want to be out in this crowd after I was told, like drilled in my head for so long that you are not allowed to be near people? Yeah. I knew that like selling tickets might be hard, but no, we definitely we sold tickets. People love their Alesana.
Oh yeah,
included.
Yeah. I think that was the first time I had bought VIP was for that show.
Yes.
Like that was. Did you guys get to meet them and like hang out with them and stuff like that, or at least pick their brain a little bit, or no?
So not really. I mean, I could have. I'm like, I could have probably like snuck upstairs, like where the backstage area is in HMAC, but for the most part, I'm just like, I'm there for the show. I'm there for like the people who came, and I did get to talk to them afterwards. And the bassist name is blanking on me for a bit, but he had like really kind words for us.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
Is that Ricky? Is that no? Ricky's his band. That's why it's coming into my brain. Never mind. Yeah. I can't think of his name either now. It's your blue-haired boyfriend though.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can picture him. I just can't remember his name.
I know. Yeah.
So with that Alesana show, there was something that I noticed that you do that I saw there, but you do it for almost all of your shows, and it's something I've even like kind of talked to you guys about. You have like your friends just kind of come up and fill in.
Oh yeah.
Like how did that start? Like I know two of them featured on the previous EP, I believe, correct?
Fangs? Yeah.
Fangs are hopeless. I couldn't remember which one, but I knew I knew that there were like features and stuff like that. Were they the features that you had brought up on stage with you then, or were they just like helping out and like, hey, I need you to help me out with this?
For the Alesana show, they were the people that did the original vocals.
Okay.
Our friend Jose did like the little spoken word into like a screaming part in the song A Different Side of Fangs. And then my brother did backup screaming in our song Modern Graves. So that was my brother.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
But if you thought that was wild, then you should see us now, because this is almost every song.
I was going to say, I know when you guys announced the tour, you were like, hey, this is a lot of shows. I need help.
I just think it's so much fun just to be like, grab a mic. Like, this isn't my, like, I don't own this, you know, like, I want this to be for everyone. So I try to encourage people that aren't in bands. Like, hey, you want to give this a shot? You just want to have fun? Like, I love what I do so much that, like, I want everyone to be at least be able to experience it somewhat. So I'm always trying to get people that don't normally do this to be like, come up here.
I love that.
That is pretty
Yeah.
dope.
I feel like it's a really good way to be like, it doesn't have to be serious. Like, get yourself out there, because it's hard. It's hard to get yourself out there.
And that's like building a community is just like, I want this to be for everyone. Like, I don't want to own this. I don't want this to be, oh, this is my mic, this is my stage. Like, let's have a party, you know, like, let's have fun.
Yeah.
No, and that's a great way to do it, because it's like that kind of opens you up to a new fan base. And like, if people see that, they're like, oh, these guys are like, yeah, the meanings of the songs are super important and everything like that, but like, they're also just willing and down to clown and like down to have a good time. And I think when you're able to do something like that, it really does show that like you guys are good people. And like, especially growing up with the post-hardcore metalcore scene, we know it's littered with not good people. And it's like, to have like good people around you and stuff like that, that's always important as a band and as a fan who enjoys that band too.
Yeah, I think it's also about like, there's so much talent in this area. And like, I know a lot of bands will like pay to have a bigger artist feature on their song, and that's cool because you get like the plays, you get more of the exposure, and I understand that from like a marketing standpoint. But for like a fun, just like standpoint, it's cool to get people that you know, that are your friends with, that are like also extremely talented in music, to feature on your song. And that's why we had Jesse from Bedroom Floor on our last album. We had Aaron from Escape Artists, and we had Nikki from Renovare. Those are all local bands that are just killing it in this area and that we're friends with. And we're just like, you're super talented. Let me try to find a spot in a song where you could like, I really think you would shine. And that to me is so much more fulfilling than like paying for like a big name, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
People do it. Yeah. It's cool, but
yeah. And I feel like it really helps strengthen that sort of community around local music, because it's something that I think is so, like, I've worked in the local music industry like through my early 20s, and I feel like it's something that can die so fast. So when everybody sort of like gets together and works together, I think it really just strengthens it. And then speaking of marketing, like, how do you, as somebody in like the local scene, how do you get your name out there?
I wish I knew.
It's hard. It's tough.
I think that was one of like the biggest realizations I had early in my music career. I was like, this really isn't that much about music, is it? It's really about marketing and like how you brand yourself, which is what I'm learning more now and just struggling with. I mean, it's weird. We've tried everything. Sometimes we do good on Facebook. Sometimes Instagram will just like, we were like, why do we even have a Facebook? Instagram pops off so much more. We've been trying to force ourselves to do TikTok more, which is draining my soul. I try to like understand TikTok. I don't know. I'm trying. I'm out here trying, but it is difficult.
TikTok is so hard. Like,
it's so volatile.
It's so volatile too, because like we run this and we have a TikTok page for this, but then on the side, she has a massively successful restaurant review TikTok up here in Connecticut.
Oh wow.
Like, so. And
like sometimes videos will get like
300,000 views.
Yeah. And then other times it's like 200. Yeah. So it's nobody knows what they're doing on TikTok, I feel like.
No.
TikTok showing you TikTok showing you how long they listened, or like how long they took until they scrolled, is soul crushing.
I don't look at that. I don't look at any of my stats. I just look at the views.
Yeah, I would spend, like 40 minutes making one, and then like it's like 99% of people watch 1 second. I was like,
yeah.
See, yeah, I'm so into analytics. Like I sit there and like I'll go through like our YouTube studio, our podcast platform. I'm like, I'll ask her, I'm like, all right, how did this do? How did this do? Because I'm like, what can we do? Where can we fix it? How is this? And she's like,
and I'm like, I don't want to know. Don't show me anything. I'm doing it because I think it's fun.
Yeah. And I'm so anal because I'm like, I want this to be a career. I don't want to work anymore 9 to 5. I don't want to do that.
Feel that.
Yeah.
And it's so hard and it's so luck based. Like one thing could skyrocket you. And it's like, and then you kind of fall into the trap of like, okay, that one thing was really good. People only want to see that one thing now.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you just recreate that same thing over and over again?
Right. Because then it's not authentic and it's not fun anymore.
Correct. Yeah.
You just like try to emulate yourself until it's like not original.
Exactly.
That is the worst when it's just like I said, I was a wrestler. So like when you have to portray a character and then it's just like, yeah, but like, that's not at all me. Like that's a character I portrayed because it was given to me and it got successful. But then it's like, I wouldn't talk like this. Yeah, it is so disheartening sometimes. But like then one thing works. It's just like, oh yeah, that's why I do it again. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I think for us, especially like the artist app for Spotify, it lets you see like who's viewing what, like how popular is a song in the past day, in the past 7 days, in the past month.
Yeah.
And you know, on a different side of Fangs, Away Message is a song that I wrote most of. I wrote it on keyboard, did the vocal melody, Josh added guitar and stuff. But I really love that song. It's really important to me, and it like had the least plays. So like I was like, oh, do I ever do this again? Do people not like this? But then like some people did really like it. Our friend Skylar really likes it. And so I did Confide on I Hope It Haunts You. And again, it's still one of the least played, but I'm here for it. Like I like it. It's important to me. It's going on the album.
Exactly. And I think that is so important to make sure that you do things for you. Like I know it's important to like play to the audience too, but I think that people resonate when it's like, I think even for me, I'm like, maybe that's not my thing, but like I can get into it because I can feel the importance and the emotion.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like I kind of am in the boat of I love the slow metalcore. I call it easy core or softcore. That for me is like kind of my bread and butter. And so when I do hear that, it sticks out to me because it's like, oh, we do know how to do things other than blast beats and zero tuning and and stuff like that. It's like, okay, cool. Like nice. I like seeing the variety. And that is one thing that you guys really do. You guys have so much variety in your sets, in your albums and stuff. Like how do you, I know on your website it says melodic hardcore. Is that something you still stick by, or is there another way that you would describe your guys' sound now going forward?
Yeah, I think it's the closest I can get. I mean, we do, and there's songs that we have that are like kind of like movements-esque. There's songs that are like counterparts-esque. There's songs that are somewhere in between. So
yeah,
it's hard, but again, I don't want to be like stuck to one thing.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to go about it too, is like being versatile, because then it's like you're hitting all of the bases. Like we all know what a 5-Finger Death Punch album is going to sound like. Let's be honest, we all know. So like when you give people treats of like different things and stuff like that, I think that's how you also retain people and like are able to like branch out to like people that aren't into the metalcore or hardcore scenes like I am, or like she is. Like you're in less than I am, I think. But I'm a huge metalhead, and so when you are able to do something different that appeals to me, all right, you've won, because like I'm very hard to please. But how do you guys go about booking shows? I think that's like something I don't like, especially as a local band. Like how do people contact you? Are you reaching out more? Like that's something I've always been kind of curious about when it comes down to the local music scene. Like, as an original band and not a cover band,
Yeah.
I think it's a lot harder for you guys to get bookings. No.
Yeah, harder, yeah, because like there's sometimes there's just people that are just looking for cover bands, and like cover bands can sell a bar easier and be more like, you know what you're getting. You're right, like you know if you're getting this cover band, you're getting exactly that. Like it's not going to vary that much. But when you're like, especially like a metal band, sometimes it's hard to convince people to be like, let us play in your little studio, or like let us. We played in a chicken shop a couple months ago. It's like, but I would say overall it's a mixed bag. Definitely when you're doing tours, especially, you're just reaching out. You're just like, hey, like we're gonna be in this area. Do you have anything? And you'll reach out to a couple people because people don't know how to just respond no.
Yeah.
Or like so. It's a mix. Like a lot of times we'll reach out, especially the bigger shows. They're not going to ask you. Like they're waiting for people to ask them. They're going to tell you what they want from it.
Okay.
But the smaller, more like local shows, usually sometimes people will like post on Facebook like, hey, I'm looking for bands to play this show. And if it's something that interests us, we'll contact them. Occasionally you will get people that message you. It's usually when they have already set up a show, like another band is like, oh, we're going to play here this date. We need to fill in the bill, and let's get these guys.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a mix.
Is it like an audition process almost though? Sometimes with stuff like that, it's like, do you have to like send them like demo? I'm coming at it, like I said, straight from the pro wrestling world. So it's like I had to have like a test tape of like, okay, this is what I can do. This are my promos. These are how I work a match. This is what I've worked for. Like this is how long I've trained. It's almost like a resume and an audition at the same time. So is it similar?
No, because I think a lot of it comes down to, if you're playing a big show, there's going to be one of two things. They're going to say, you have to sell as many tickets, and if you don't, you're paying for the rest. Or they say, what's your numbers?
And
which sucks, because like you can pay for numbers, you can manipulate the numbers.
Oh yeah.
They're not going to listen to you and be like, oh, I like you more than this other band that submitted a song or whatever, so I'm going to pick you. They don't care. Like I guarantee you that 80% of the people that book us have never listened to our music. See what you are. They kind of get the picture, and they're just like, yeah. I mean, the local people that book us, that we're friends with, I know listen, but like,
yeah.
Is that how you like? Because I know you guys play JB Love Drafts a lot. Is that like is that kind of how you guys got in with them? Are you guys like kind of cool with the promoter there, and it's just like, oh, hey, we have a bill, slot you guys in, because it's like, we know that they're reliable, we know that they'll show up and not cancel last minute or anything like that.
Yeah, Nick Myers is who we book with a lot at JB's.
Okay.
The one in Mechanicsburg. I always get the names mixed up, and Ricky hates me for it. not JB's, just Love Drafts. Just Love Drafts is the one in Mechanicsburg. JB's is the one in the city, I believe. But yeah, so if sometimes he'll post a flyer, like an announcement, and then if it's something that interests us, we'll hit him up. Sometimes he'll be like, hey, I have these shows coming up, and he'll hit us up and say, do any of these interest you? So yeah, I think that is a big part of it though, that you hit on, is like, if you're nice and you show up and you play your set and you clean up, you're just like professional, they'll work with you. Like,
yeah, I used to work for a local music venue, and that is not always the case. And I will say not usually the case either.
Really?
Yeah, no. There's, I think, at least in this area in Connecticut, the New Haven scene, I feel like there's a lot of ego.
Privilege? Because
ego.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think at least for us, it was like, I never want to book this band again because they were fucking assholes. And then you don't. Yeah.
Even okay, so I guess here's my question for that part of it then, like kind of directing it to you in the middle of an interview. If there was a band that was like an asshole, but they did really, really good numbers.
At least for us, it didn't really matter.
Okay.
If the staff did not like them, they were not coming back.
Well, you guys could only fit 30 people.
Yeah, like 200.
Oh, good. I didn't think it was that big of a venue.
It was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. That was a divergence in the middle of this.
When you said numbers, though, do you mean ticket numbers or like like
Like
Spotify.
I'm thinking like ticket numbers for the venue. Yeah.
And we like, it was back before Spotify was big even. So we didn't know any numbers.
I was gonna say,
and like we got like the little like, we would have nights where we had like high school bands and things like that, where it's like a bunch of kids are just starting out, and like that's where like we would welcome them and have them on shows. So we were not numbers driven.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, how often do you guys get a mosh pit at your show? This just came to me and I need to know.
We're playing with Bedroom Floor and Jesse's there. There's always a mosh pit. It's actually weird that I know you guys met us at Alesana, and Jesse, actually, we met Jesse through Alesana at that show.
Okay.
He was there. He was in the pit, and then he came up to us afterwards, and he was like, "I really like you guys. I really like you guys. I'm in a band too. We should go on tour sometime." Like, yeah, okay. Like, people always say, yeah, we should go on tour. Yeah, whatever, Jesse, whatever.
Yep.
Expecting to like maybe never hear from this person again. But sure
Right.
enough, like Jesse hit us up. We became friends. We went on a short like 4 or 5 day run with them, and then we
Love
did
that.
another like week run with them in January of this year. And I was like, oh, okay, Jesse was real. Jesse wasn't messing around.
Yeah.
So
It's
that's how we
weird you
became
find
like,
those connections.
Yeah.
yeah.
So where is like the furthest you guys have been on
Good
tour?
question.
Virginia Beach was our furthest.
Okay.
That was that last tour that I was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
So what it was PA, Maryland, Virginia.
So we did. Well, let me see if I remember the order right. This is.
All right, here we go.
All right. First night was in Washington D.C. Comet Ping Pong was awesome.
Okay.
Wow. Second night, I think, was Delaware, the Temple.
Okay.
Okay.
Third night was Philly, Luigi's Mansion. Fourth night was Brooklyn, the Monarch.
Nice.
Fifth night was the Depot, Maryland, and then the sixth night was Virginia Beach. And we drove from Virginia Beach back to PA that night, like at midnight.
Oh my God.
That was
That
one of
is
the most
that's-
surreal experiences I've had.
Yeah, that sounds rough.
That is a horrible trip, by the way. For the people that don't know, that are not from like the mid-Atlantic area, that's a freaking haul.
Uh-huh.
Like, because it's 4.5 hours of nothingness. It's
Yeah.
all like most of it's back road highway.
Uh-huh.
It's
Especially-
brutal.
We were so tired because we were like, there was a night in between when we were coming back from Brooklyn. We were going to stay at the guitarist in Bedroom Floor's house in Maryland. And we got stuck in a snowstorm. This was like January. And we slept in a 7-Eleven parking lot in the van.
Yeah.
So we were running on, sometimes we got back, I think, to his house around like 4 a.m. or something, 5 a.m. And then slept for like 2 or 3 hours and then got up and got ready for the show.
Yeah.
So
that's rough.
That car ride home, I was trying to stay awake to keep the driver awake because I was like, I'm second shift, so I'm used to being up late. Like midnight is just like lunchtime to me.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey man, like I'm gonna sit up front and we're gonna fucking do this. Like I'm not gonna let you sleep. I'm gonna be like entertainment. And being in a van with your friends driving that far, it's the cliche, but it's awesome. It definitely made a lot of memories. My brother was on that tour with us and his project Canopy Cover.
Nice.
And
that's awesome.
Just a time I'll always remember.
That's cool.
Love that.
Yeah. So transition. You guys have just recently announced that you signed to a label, 1112 Media. How did that kind of come about? Because obviously beforehand you guys were independent. And so now it's like going to a label. How is it different? Like how did it come about? All that kind of stuff.
It goes way back. Again, it goes to what I like originally talked about. It's just like meeting people and being open and just being a good person, and good things will happen to you.
Yeah.
Talon was someone I met a long time ago during some like member changes and We Fought by the Sword. They reached out at some point and they were like, hey, I just want to come and jam and see what you guys are about. So they went over to my house. We showed them some of the demos we were working on, and they ultimately decided that it wasn't for them, which was totally cool because we were doing some
Mhm.
weird shit back then. But they ended up moving, but we were still friends on Facebook. We still like comment on each other's music and stuff.
Mhm.
I was a really big fan of what they did, and they had a band called Migrate that they moved to Florida. They're doing stuff in Florida. Long story short, it's Talon. I love their voice, so we had them feature on our song "A Different Side of Things."
Mm.
The Modern Graves in the beginning, the singing part, the clean
Mm.
singing, and just stayed friends on Facebook. Commented on music. I went to them a lot for advice, and I think they're really good at promoting. So like when they started a label, it didn't really surprise me because I always thought that they were really, really talented in that area.
Mhm.
So they reached out to us and said, "Hey, we're putting it together like a small group, and we're going to try to help you, with marketing and advice and getting any of the cracks that I feel like we might have had, like maybe I'm not really good at, and other people in the band aren't really talented at. That hopefully we can go to them and be like, hey, this is what we have. This is what we want to do. How do we get there?" So it's just been, it's a DIY label. It's not like we signed to, Fearless or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but just that people, again, I'll always side and I'll always want to sign up with people who are passionate. Like DIY, I don't care if you're in it and like I know your heart's in it. I'm there for it. I'd rather have that than just some big label who you're just like
You're
a number two or like
yeah,
whatever they're trying to sell you. I don't know.
that are like you hear stories now about some bands that have signed to a certain record label that I will not say, but then they become very much the same band as everybody else on that record label. And it's like when you're able to DIY it, there's not really that kind of an expectation, I would imagine, to being like, oh, you have to sound like this band because that's what fits our mold and everything like that. So like they're not going to have like any kind of input into like what you guys are doing unless you ask. Is what I'm kind of understanding, correct?
Yeah, I think musically, I don't think they would ever try to butt in or anything.
Yeah,
it's mostly awesome. Just, again, it's like the whole world of marketing. This is like 90% of your band.
Yeah.
Like, social media and graphics and all that stuff.
Now, are they doing some of your social media stuff too? Or is it like, are you guys still kind of working on that and they're just advisors on that?
Yeah, it's definitely mostly like input for now.
Okay.
I know we did some like playthrough videos that we shot for guitar and stuff.
Oh, cool.
For the album. I know that they offered to edit those. So stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's like the next step where it's like we're doing all of this ourselves, and like now we have people that we can rely on for that kind of stuff. And I think it probably makes it a little bit easier. And
I was gonna say it takes away one of the headaches, like one headache that are many headaches.
Yeah, like helps growth.
Yeah, no, it definitely does, because it seems like that like when you guys announced, it seemed like it got a lot of traction amongst like people in the area. Like I saw a couple of my friends like actually like commenting on it and being like, "Oh, that's dope," and it's like I didn't even know you guys knew who these guys were. Like I didn't even know you listened to this music. Yeah. Like so it's definitely cool to be able to be like, okay, this is one thing less that we have to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just having someone like promote you other than yourself, because it's really hard, and I'm sure you guys experience this too, like bordering on the line of self-promotion where you're just like, am I doing it too much? Do I sound kind of like douchey? Like it's hard to just be like, my bin.
Yes.
No, it is, because like I told her today, like we like right before you kind of got on, I was like, God, we need to be active more on social media. Yeah. But it's like I'm also really social media not savvy. Like when it comes down to like, how do you promote? How do you do this? And she's a marketing major. Yeah. So it's like I need you to handle this, because I don't know how.
Yeah. And I was a marketing major because I like the psychology behind it, and I hate doing it.
So it's like we have two people that don't like to promote at all.
Yeah.
But trying to promote.
Yeah. You're more willing to do like promotion, like, hey, check out this thing. where you like when we meet people, he's like, "Oh, she has a really successful like TikTok," and I'm like, "Shut up, please stop." So
That's because I'm proud of you. I don't want people to hear me. It's weird.
Yeah, but it is tough. So it's nice to sort of have that group where you can all sort of promote each other and help with promotion and growth in that aspect too.
Are they looking for a small ass podcast? Because like we'll sign.
Maybe hit 'em up.
Yeah, like content creation is just a hard game.
It is. It's tough.
It's a hard game.
Being my age, especially, like I remember when we would, and We Fall by the Sword in the very early years, we like spent $50 to have like a custom MySpace page made for us, like all the code, all the images. It was gonna be sick, man. It was like $50 well spent. And it's just like
it's
like so weird how things have changed.
Oh yeah,
I miss MySpace.
Me too.
Oh my god, it was the best.
MySpace was awesome because like that was kind of like the last effort before TikTok blew up of like, oh, this no-name band is now on like 70 people's profiles. And it's like, then it's like,
I found so much music through MySpace.
Yeah, no, me too. Like I found Hollywood Undead. Like that was like,
I mean, yeah, who didn't?
But like now TikTok is the game and it's like, how do you do TikTok?
Yeah.
Like, how do you do TikTok?
I know.
And TikTok's weird because like a lot of songs blow up, but doesn't mean the artist usually blows up. Like it's not that weird to see an artist with like one song with like 45 million views plays, and then like every other song has like 12 or something. You know, it's like it's very weird how that works.
Yeah, especially because I feel like people are always just sort of scrolling through and they're not going and looking at more. Where they're like, oh, I really love this one video. Like, why would you then not transition and be like, what else are they doing?
Correct. Yeah.
I don't get it.
No, because like we just had one blow up. Like we had a video. Well, we say blow up. It got like 600 views.
Yeah.
But like for us, it's huge.
Yeah.
And so it was just like all of that, but nobody listened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you just...
It's like, I'm glad you like that one thing, but there's more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's especially like okay, don't come at me. Don't hate me.
No.
A little bit gimmicky, like because it'll be like a song with a dog bark in it, and they'll be like, "Oh, isn't that funny?" And like, and like I know there's a lot of hardcore songs that blew up because they have like a dog bark in like 2 seconds, and then that song just blows up because people are like, "Ooh, funny dog bark." Like,
I know exactly what band you're talking about.
There's multiple bands, so I just want to that out there. I'm not talking about one band.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of the big one that made it their gimmick.
Yeah, but or they'll be like, oh, what's the other one? Just like something really small.
Yeah.
But then people like love that song, but like, are they gonna buy tickets? Are they gonna come into your local show? Like
exactly
that's another thing.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
There's a lot of people with huge numbers, but then they play local, they play a show, and there's not a lot of people there. So it's just like there's this balance and difference that's like you can pay for numbers, it's cool, but are those people going to show up?
Right. And I think that's where I look at it, and like growing up being like really involved in the local music scene and sort of like behind the scenes, I had so many friends who were like, that's cool, but like I couldn't go to a local show. And it's like, why? I don't get it. But I think people are like, sometimes they're scared, where it's like they're like, oh, there's not going to be a lot of people, like I'm going to be like the only person, or like they're like a little scared of the local music scene if they haven't like been there,
Yeah, it is hard. Like it is hard to kind of do that. Like, because I have a story. We had a guy at my work who was in a band.
Oh yes.
And he invited a couple of the other employees out. I did not get the invite because no. Very happy I didn't.
They did not get along.
Yeah, no, it was it's not that we didn't get along, it's just like personalities clashed.
Yeah.
So 2 of the other employees went, and they were the only 2 there.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, like oofta.
Yeah, but like I feel
And
I
it's a
feel
cover
like,
band.
yeah,
It's a cover
yeah.
band, and there's only 2 people there.
Yeah, but
That's
I feel like
bad.
being the only people in the audience, like I feel like it's fine. Like I don't think people have to be nervous about that because like who cares?
No, I
You
know,
know?
but some people will. I will.
I know.
I'll be like, let's fucking mosh, baby. I'm in. And, like,
Exactly.
I'm moshing you, and that's about it.
Exactly. Hell yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's interesting sort of coaxing people into like be a part of this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think I had that experience like recently where I'm going towards like the smaller shows or just like the only shows that I really enjoy because so I really like this artist named Water Me Down that we actually were privileged enough to have them play with us at our album release show.
Oh, nice.
And,
Awesome.
they are on tour now currently, but their first stop was in Baltimore, and Tyler and I, our bassist, went to see them. That was like the first night of the tour, and it was a smaller show, but it was so cool because like it's nice to be able to talk to the artists that you want to talk to. Like Sky was there. Sky talked to us like the whole like pre-show. We got, we've had them on our podcast a few times to like just talk, and I was like, man, this is such a cool feeling knowing that I can talk to the artists that I really love. Like I can send Sky a message and they'll reply and they'll talk to me about their music. And I love bigger bands, and like Silverstein was playing that same night in Maryland. So it's like I could have seen Silverstein, which is my favorite band. but I was like, I want to see Water Me Down. I want to see my friend, the smaller shows, like the one we played at the Chicken Shop, it just had an energy, or like everyone was friends. Like for that hour, whatever, like everyone was just like one mood, like one vibe. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And if you haven't experienced that, any local show that like just has that kind of, there's like a bunch of local bands that are all friends with each other putting together a show, try it out. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and especially because I feel like bands in like that local scene are so welcoming, and all they want is like people to join their community.
Yeah.
So
this
like is really making me want to go to a show tonight.
We can't. We have a new puppy. Yeah, we just adopted a dog yesterday, and we
she's
can't
a little crazy.
Yeah, she's a crackhead. But I didn't even know you guys had a podcast. I completely missed. I completely missed that while I was doing my research. You guys have a podcast.
We're really bad at marketing too.
So
Tyler
what do you guys? Yeah, go ahead.
Tyler and I and our friend Jordy do it's called Pass the Aux, where we just talk about. We're supposed to talk about music and have like other local musicians kind of come on, and we just kind of talk, and but it's kind of devolved into a variety show. I don't know.
I love
there's a lot of like food debate and
I love it.
Popular media kind of discussion, but
no, that's cool though. I love that.
I was gonna say like this started out. It's really funny you say that because you guys have a similar journey. We started out as a pro wrestling podcast.
Yes.
Whereas like me, the veteran, her, the fan, and like we were discussing the business, and it's like, wow, this is really niche, and we're not getting anywhere with it.
Yeah.
All right, time to branch out, and like we wanted to talk to people, we wanted to interview people and stuff like that, and it's like, okay, like how do we do that? We keep the name, we change the format, and now we're here, and it's like actually showing that it's a successful business model.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like now we feel more free. I look forward to recording more. I don't know if that's something similar for you too. Like once you open up, it's like, oh wow, like I actually like recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely have to be flexible. If you're like just steadfast in something and you're not able to adapt, it's hard to find success doing that. So
yeah. And I feel like it's the same with music and like having that variety where it's like we can do whatever we want, and like we don't need to like follow this one model.
Yeah. It sucks because like the same with like the internet has kind of killed creation in a way, because it's like everybody has a podcast.
Yeah.
Everybody's making music.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now you're just in a sea of other freaking everything else. And it's like, God,
I know. So much of it is luck.
So much luck.
Yeah. Technology has made everything so accessible that again, everyone can make, you can download Reaper for free and make a pretty decent sounding metal song watching YouTube tutorials, like
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can put that on Spotify for, whatever, like $20 or something. So
yeah, no, it's such a double-edged sword.
It really is. And like back to promotion, it's like how like you promote to your friends and it's like I don't want to sound annoying, but at the same time, like please listen to my stuff.
Yeah,
like,
please support me.
Please support me. I'm trying. Like we're all trying, okay? Like try with us. Yeah. See, and the other thing too is like, did you guys ever play the Champ in Harrisburg at all?
Oh yeah, buddy.
Did you?
Oh
okay.
yeah, buddy. Elsewhere never
like...
did, but I did, and we fought by the sword.
Okay. Yeah, I think I remember seeing you guys on a poster at some point for up there. This was like the space for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like maybe 150 people could fit in that place. Like it was not a big venue.
Yeah.
But it was diehard metal fans. Like it was almost exclusively metal shows at the Champ. And I feel like York's missing that. Like we're missing the Chameleon, we're missing the Champ, we're missing like a lot of those independent venues. And it's like it makes me want to open one. Like
listen, I've wanted to forever.
Yeah, like
next business venture.
Next business venture. We'll invest. We'll invite Elsewhere to play.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, York doesn't have a lot right now.
No.
Yeah,
no.
I know Skid Row Garage is doing a lot of shows there, which is in like the city.
They're relatively new though now, right?
I think they were doing shows, and then over COVID, I think they got funding actually to like become
stay
more
open.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So I know they expanded, and it looks nice there.
I don't think I've ever been there. Like thinking about it, I don't think that's.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, like because we used to have the Champ, we had the Chameleon, we had like there was a couple bars that would do it too. Like,
do you remember Club 19?
I don't remember Club 19.
That was like 2 or 3 months where they were doing shows. But actually, Texas in July played at Club 19.
Really?
Nice.
Wait, hold on. When did they open? Like, when was this?
Ooh, the only anchor I have is that I know it was shortly after Texas in July was in the car accident, in their van accident or whatever. Because that show, I think both guitarists were playing sitting down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were still in casts and stuff.
Okay, so this was
sure we could
way before COVID. Like this. This is like 2016, probably ish.
That sounds right.
Maybe.
Maybe
for everybody that's not listening from the York area, this is a very niche conversation. I promise.
Quality content.
Hey, you know what? I'm not here to make quality content. I'm here to have a conversation about my hometown. Damn it.
Yeah.
So. You guys have this new album. You guys have done a couple tours before the album came out. Do you guys have anything lined up as we're winding down here to kind of promote for people to come see you at, hear some of the new songs and everything like that?
Yeah. So I know we're planning another tour.
Awesome.
But I don't have the dates for that yet, but I know we're going west.
Okay.
It's our goal to go west. So like, which is really weird for me. Like I'm like Charlie and It's Always Sunny. Like I never leave York, or like never leaves Philadelphia.
Yes.
So like this tour was the first time I've ever like spent time in Virginia. This is the first time I've really spent time in New York, like significant time, so
yeah.
I've never been west. I've never been to Pittsburgh. Like I've never even gone that far west. So like
I've
never stepped foot in Ohio. I think they want to do Michigan. Like these are going to be new places for me. So
that's exciting though.
Do you guys have a strong like fan base in the Midwest? Like on listens and stuff like that? Oh, okay.
That's how you build one though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if like that was like a thing for you guys. It's like, hey, like I know there's certain bands like I know he's canceled right now, but Drake Bell was huge in Mexico. Like he was like massive in Mexico, but failed in the United States. Yeah. So it's like, okay, like I didn't know if that was a thing for you guys or not.
Alesana is like one of the biggest bands in like Brazil and Argentina, I think.
Yeah, they're huge in South America.
Yeah,
interesting.
They're like gods there.
Yeah, it's really weird how because like the first time I saw them was at the Chameleon.
Okay.
And it was with Eyes Set to Kill. And like it was like 2017. It was a weird lineup, man. It was a weird lineup.
You didn't happen to see them with Our Last Night, did you?
No, I didn't see them with Our Last Night.
Okay. We played that show actually. We fought by the sword.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was 2018 when I went and saw them for the first time.
Okay.
And yeah, and they had like such a small crowd for like, I'm like, these guys are like metalcore legends. Like
Yeah.
I'm hyping it up to the person I'm going with. I'm like, this is gonna be incredible. There's like 150 people.
That sometimes
But it was
those
so
are the
fun.
best.
It was
Yeah.
so fun.
That's weird. When
Yeah.
I saw them, it was like booked. Like it was packed.
The second time I saw them, it was.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that was with Red Jumpsuit Apparatus.
Mm.
Oh.
And, yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, that was not, they were not great. They might have had an off night, but that was also a weird tour
Yeah.
because it was with Veer Union too,
Oh.
which is like a radio rock band.
Yeah.
It was
Interesting.
weird tour,
Okay.
man. Like, but they
Sometimes
were
you gotta throw them all together.
sometimes you gotta throw them all together. But yeah, so you guys have a tour. Do you guys have any more local shows coming up at all or anything like that at the moment?
Yeah, I asked Tyler because we're like in a lot of talks right now for like the new year and
Okay.
stuff. We don't have anything else for this year, but
Okay.
January 27th, February 2nd, March 9th, I think they're all going to be local shows. March 15th through the 17th, I think we're going to be playing some out of state shows on a weekender.
Nice.
Okay.
March 30th probably is local. I'm sorry, I don't have any
All right.
more information.
Yeah,
but-
no,
No, that's
no.
okay.
That
That's
just
okay.
people need to go and follow you on Facebook and Instagram to find out where.
Yeah,
So,
hey,
there you
know
go.
what? That's a cliffhanger.
Exactly.
That's what they in the business
Exactly.
they call it a cliffhanger.
No, we're really thinking ahead, and it's not just we don't have a lot of
Exactly.
information.
No, not at all.
Yeah, listen, I get it. Like, I think we have our next 3 interviews booked, and then it's like after that we're like,
Yeah.
Tell us you're coming to the north, though. Are you coming up
Yes.
north?
I forget. I think the one weekender I thought was in Delaware,
Okay.
Dang.
but
Okay.
yeah, I'd have to look into it.
Yeah.
We gotta get
That's
that.
not even north. I don't know
I
why I'm
know.
saying that, but it's
That's
more towards
okay.
the coast.
Yeah.
You gotta push some of your local contacts.
Listen, yeah.
Yeah,
If you
honestly,
ever want to
like,
play in Connecticut, I'll give you the hookups.
yeah, that's how it starts. Because like a lot of these states we picked just because we do people there that we thought we had a chance to. So
Yeah.
yeah, if we
Yeah.
know there's a place, and we'll try to
Yeah,
set up a
no,
time.
There's
There's places
places here.
There is.
There are places here that will have you.
Yeah.
Like,
Awesome.
we have a lot of weird local venues.
We do.
Yeah.
And they're great.
Yeah.
So,
I haven't been to one
listen.
yet, but
If you ever want to play in Connecticut, let me know.
I will share that to the tour chat group as soon as I'm off here. Yeah, we'll definitely.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm glad that you were able to come in. Make sure you guys listen to I Hope It Haunts You on all music streaming services. I saw you guys just got all the lyrics synced up to the songs and everything like
Oh, hell
that
yeah.
too. So
Yep.
absolutely check out Elsewhere on Facebook, Elsewhere Band PA on Instagram, Elsewhere Band on TikTok. Check out their website, elsewherepa.weebly.com, and on YouTube at Elsewhere PA. Aurie, thank you so very much for coming on. It was a blast.
Thank you guys for inviting me.
All right.
And for Aurie, I'm Damien,
And I'm Ashley.
and this has been Casually Die Hard.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.